Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Dimas Arza Makalag. I'm an active student of IAIN Manado. Currently, I'm majoring in English education at 6th semester. On this video, I'd like to present my PowerPoint slide with the title Psychological Criticism by Ahmad Fuadi, novel with the title Negeri 5 Menara. Okay, keep watch. So, psychological criticism. Let's get into the definition. According to the Freudian approach, psychological criticism is a literary critical method that applies Sigmund Freud's psychoanalytic theory to understand characters, conflicts, and hidden meanings within literary works. This type of criticism focuses on the unconscious mind, the conflict between the ID, ego, and superego, as well as symbolism that reflects hidden desires or traumas. The next one is tripartite psych. It's included in the Sigmund Freud's principle in psychology. And this tripartite psych is in an effort to describe the consciousness and unconscious mind. And Sigmund Freud divided the human psyche into three parts. The first one is the ID, which operates on the pleasure principle, something like hunger, sex, and aggression. And the second one is the ego. It's related to reality principle, and it's aimed to satisfy the ID's desire in a socially acceptable ways. And the third one is the superego. It's judges actions based on the right and wrong, strives for perfection, and often opposes the ID's desires. Let's move on and talking about the background or setting of this novel with the title Negeri 5 Menara. So the main character named Ali Fikri, the goal that he has is want to be like Habibi, get into high school and being an engineer. The setting of this novel is Pondok Madani, Ponorogo, and there's the situation is the first one is very strict and disciplined education system, and the second one is teach passion, manjada wajada, which means whoever puts in the effort will succeed. And the character are these six friends. The first one is Alif, our main character. He's from Sumatra. And the second one is Raja. He's from Medan. And we got Said is from Surabaya. We got Dul Majid from Madura. We got Atang, he's from Bandung. And lastly, Baso is from uh, South Sulawesi. And we got the dream of these six friends. They having dream to visit these uh, five sites around the world. First one is Alif. Alif wants to go to America, and then Raja wants to go to Europe, and we have Said like to go to Middle East. Atang go to Africa. Dul Majid East Indonesia, and Baso like to back to his original hometown. We moving on to the next one is the conflict and growth. The first one is Alif disappoint and becoming the top student. and then he have to deal with homesickness, the rigors of discipline, and the challenges of a foreign languages. The third one is learn from inspirational figures in pesantren. Resolution. Uh, the resolution uh, on this novel is the first one is Alif graduated and got a scholarship to America, and the second one, the dreams under the tower start to come true, and the core values is hard work, passion, and the power of prayer. Okay, let's move to the introduction of this analysis. The novel Negeri Lima Menara by Ahmad Fuadi is not only a story about education in a boarding school, but also a narrative about self-discovery, inner struggles, and internal conflicts of a teenager in facing life changes. The main character, Ali Fikri, experiences psychological upheaval typical of adolescence to adult transition age, including conflicts with parents, identity crisis, and the formation of self-motivation. Through the approach of developmental psychology and psychodynamic theory, this novel can be dis- dissected more deeply to understand how experiences and environmental pressure shape the character's personality. Psychological theory that is used in order to analyzing Alif's characters. Freud's psychodynamic approach is used to review self-defense mechanism and conflict between ID, ego, and superego. Internal conflict and identity. So Alif experiences a strong inner conflict when he is required by his mother to enter Pondok Madani, even though he wants to continue to high school and aspires to be like Habibi. He felt his hopes were crushed by his parents' unilateral decision. It can be seen on this conversation, on the PowerPoint slide, and this quote shows the conflict between ego, Alif's rational desire to pursue personal dreams, and his superego, family norms and obedience to parents. Ego strengthening to balance the conflict between ID and superego. One quote that shows this transformation is a famous motto in the novel. As you can see on the PowerPoint slide, it sounds like manjada wajada. It means siapa yang bersungguh-sungguh akan berhasil. And this motto becomes a form of strengthening the character's ego to balance the conflict between ID, instant desires to give up, and superego, or the expectation and values from the pesantren environment. By upholding this principle, Alif slowly begins to find his new identity as though a highly resilient student. Freudian psychoanalysis on Alif's psychological resolution. So, Alif's psychological transformation through the lens of Sigmund Freud's psychoanalysis. Toward the end of the novel, Alif's psychological transformation can be viewed through the lens of Sigmund Freud's psychoanalysis, particularly in the context of the dynamics between ID, ego, and superego. In the beginning, Alif seems to be driven by the conflicts between his ID drives, the desires to be free and pursue personal goals, and the pursuit of the superego, which is manifested in social expectation, and his parents' demand that he attend the boarding school. During his learning process and struggle at the pesantren, Alif ego slowly develops. He begins to show the ability to mediate the impulsive demands of the ID and strict norms of the superego. It is this ego development that allows Alif to integrate the two sides of the conflict into a more mature and balanced personality structure. It can be seen on Alif's statement, which sounds like, "Aku kini percaya, takdir bisa dimenangkan oleh semangat dan kerja keras." This show that the success of the ego in negotiating reality. Alif is no longer a person controlled by the inner conflict between personal drive and social pressure, but he has achieved a synthesis between the two. He is now a figure whose ego strength is quite strong, realistic, productive, and has healthy self control. Thus, Alif's psychological resolution represents the achievement of balance between the previously conflicting structures of ID, ego, and superego. Alif not only finds his true self but also achieves psychological maturity through a process of values integration as described in the Freudian psychoanalytic framework. Conclusion: through the approach of developmental psychology and psychoanalysis, the character Alif in Negeri Lima Menara shows significant psychological development from a confused teenager to an individual who has a direction in life. The conflict between personal desires and social demands is overcome by the process of internalizing values, forming a strong ego, and support from the social environment. This novel illustrates that adolescence identity formation is strongly influenced by the interaction between environmental pressure, inner experience, and psychological defense mechanism. Okay, guys, that's all my presentation, and thank you very much for watching. I hope that you get the whole insight, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.